We in there like swimwear.
Hey, all praise to the Most High, man. First of all, we give all honor, praise, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, in the name of His heavenly Son, whose name is Yahweh Shah. Right? We back with another Wars on Wednesday. It's your brothers from Yahawah's camp, right? And just like we do each week, we got another mighty lesson for the people. Shalom to the children of Israel spread abroad, and we back at it, man. Right? I'm gonna go around, let everybody introduce themselves right quick.
Hey, Shalom Israel, it's your brother Mahar.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. This your brother Yahshua Ben Yahweh.
Hey, Shalom Israel, it's your brother Aniel.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom. It's your brother Kazak.
All praises, all praises. That's the mighty Yahawah's camp, right? And like I said, we back with another War Zone Wednesday. As you know, it's Passover season, right? Everybody's bringing in the Lord's Passover, right? So I thought, the Lord put it on my spirit to go into the great and powerful, uh, the Most High, man, right? And this lesson is going to be based. It's going to be based on the story of the Exodus, right? How our forefathers was freed out of the hands of Pharaoh um, when we were slaves in Egypt, right? Because like I said, it's Passover season, right? It's the Lord's high holy day. Um, so the Most High put it in my spirit to go into some of these precepts, man, about the Exodus, right? Um, so yeah, man, just I've been meditating on this. I don't know, probably for a couple weeks here, and yeah, man, like I say, this the highest holy day we have, right? We're taught in the scriptures that we have to remember this day. The Passover was a memorial for our people, where the Most High saved us from the hands of Pharaoh, right? So yeah, man, I thought this would be a mighty lesson, um, edification for the people, and just keeping the commandments by remembering this high holy day, teaching our people about this high holy day, our family about this high holy day, and just going into the memorial of the Lord's Passover. So I'm gonna kick it straight off. Mahar, can you pull up Romans 15:4 for me?
Gone.
And we're gonna flow in the spirit. Yeah, man. I really was thinking, man, like meditating on this lesson. I've been meditating on it hard. Um, just the obedience that the Most High was teaching us while we were in Egypt, right? You know the story. Our forefathers, they went into Egypt, right? You had plagues going on, famines going on, and our forefathers they went into Egypt, right? So we're gonna meditate on that, and we're gonna break down some history, some precepts, and just go through it with the spirit of the Most High. So you can read that whenever you're ready, King.
Gone. The book of Romans, chapter 15, and verse, you said 4, right?
Come.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
And that's powerful right there, right? Because these precepts, this scrolls that we read, these scripts that we read, right? They're here for our learning, right? We're taught in church, man, that basically a prosperity message, right? But once you come into the walk and know that you're an Israelite, this is actually your history in this Bible, right? So it's written for our learning, and it was written also through it that we would have patience and comfort uh, the scriptures that we may have hope, right? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, when I really started getting into this lesson, I don't know, about a week or two ago, man, like I really, my spirit was really raised up, right? Because it showed you the power of the Most High and what the Most High did for us, right? It really lifted up my hope, right? Especially in a time that we're living in where you got basically all hell breaking loose, right? Like we're literally on the brink of World War III, right? You got Iran, Iraq, Salakia, you got Iran and Israel, right? You got Russia, Ukraine, right? America's got their hands in all this stuff. They got to back certain allies, right? So you literally got World War III at your doorstep, man. Any minute, any minute, man, one of these missiles could be fired off, right? So we can see that our salvation is near, right? So this lesson, it's heavy in obedience and it's heavy in hope, right? That the Most High is gonna save us out of our captivity, right? It's a lot of similarities in Egypt and America. So you can see, man, you can see this whole thing crumbling. You can see America's system, man, is literally crumbling, right? And the Lord, He's putting signs out there. You got all kind of signs that are happening. You got ships running in the bridges, man. You got signs in the heavens, right? You got crazy weather. You got all these signs that are happening. You got earthquakes in places that don't ever have them, right? Like I said, boats running in the bridges. You got eclipses happen, right? All signs are pointing towards our salvation coming near, right? So yeah, like with this Passover, right? The Most High, he instructed us to remember this high holy day, to make this a memorial, right? Which the root word of memorial is memory, to keep this in our memory. And the Most High, he's showing us, uh, how we need to be obedient to the Most High, right? And a big thing in this lesson too is for the Most High, that He glorified His name, right? You can see it all through the scriptures that he was going to glorify and declare His name to the whole world from what He did to the Egyptians, right? So I'm gonna go right into it. Can somebody give me Deuteronomy chapter 6 and start at verse 17? Mahar, can you pull that up for us, King? Right? Because a lot of this is about obedience, right? A lot of this is about the Most High, man, having us be obedient to Him, right? Imagine, just think about it. We're in Egypt, right? And the Most High, He's showing you all these signs. Like literally back then, our forefathers and ancestors, they were seeing signs of the Most High and His power, as far as taking down these heathens, as far as destroying these heathens, putting plagues on them, right? Destroying their kingdom, letting them crumble. So that's hope for our people, right? Our forefathers got to see the hand of the Most High, in live action, man, right? They got to see the plagues. They got to see how the heathen nations were destroyed. And you got to think too, man, the Most High was getting us prepared, because when we come out of Egypt, right, we watched the Egyptians fall, but then we had to go into Canaan and take down another nation. So the Most High was building our spirit up to show what kind of power that we serve, right? To show that our enemies couldn't stand in front of us, man, right? Our enemies couldn't stand up to us, right? Because he destroyed Egypt, right? And he sent us into Canaan to destroy Canaan, basically destroy all the Hamite heathens, man, that was surrounding us. So the Lord, he does these things, man, to build us up, build up our faith, build up our strength, right? Show certain signs, right, to get us prepared for what we have to do, man, right? And we still have that hope that our enemies in America are going to be destroyed also. So you can read that whenever you're ready, King.
Hey, Khan, I'll
I
read it
got
for
you.
you. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got you, King.
Okay, Khan.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 17. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Most High your Elohim, and His testimonies, and His statutes, which He hath commanded thee.
You can keep reading, King. We're going to read. I'm going to take it down to about 25.
Con, King. Verse 18. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Most High, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Most High sware unto thy fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19. To cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Most High hath spoken. Verse 20. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which the Most High hath commanded you?
Mm-hmm.
Verse
Keep going.
21. Verse 21. Then shalt thou say unto thy son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, And the Most High brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Verse 22, and the Most High showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes.
You see that? So just like I was saying earlier, right? We're commanded to teach our youth this. We're commanded to teach our children, our household this, right? Like you said, when they ask you what is all these statutes and these commandments about, you're supposed to tell your children um, what the Lord did for you, right? Because this was given to our forefathers, and they actually seen the hand of the Lord be against the heathen, right? In the physical, you see that he actually seen that they actually seen the Most High, man, destroy these heathen nations, man, right? So we're commanded to teach this to our youth, right? We're commanded to keep this as a memorial and rejoice in the Lord, man, for what He did for our forefathers. You can keep reading, King.
Verse 23, and he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. Verse 24, and the Most High commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Most High, our Elohim, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day.
Read 25, and that'll be it on that.
25, and it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our Elohim, as he commanded us.
All praise to the Most High, man. So, like I said, just keeping this in memory, man, what the Most High did for our ancestors and how He was with us, man, right? The power that we serve, man, right? Because I'm gonna be going into a little bit of history about Egypt here in a second. But yeah, it was a mighty thing. Taking down Egypt at that time, man, was like taking down America, right? Because this is a nation that had been around for a while, right? A nation that formed itself after the flood. This wasn't no small task, right? The Most High literally destroyed one of the strongest nations that was on the face of the earth at that time, right? So all these commandments, all this understanding, we have to pass this on to our children, right, as a memorial for what the Most High did for us. And like I said before, as we were going into the land of Canaan, the Most High showed His signs and His wonders and His power to the children of Israel, man, so they would know, right, that this ain't nothing to be played with. What kind of power they actually serve, right? That you had no problem taking down these heathens. Aniel, while you're reading, man, can you give me Deuteronomy 7 and start at verse 17, right? Because the Most High, man, he destroyed Egypt and destroyed all these heathen nations for us, and we got to keep this in our memory, man. Right? This is a high holy day that we have to remember, right? Deuteronomy 7 and verse 17.
This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 17. If thou shalt say in thine heart, these nations are more than I, how can I depossess them?
You see that? And that's just going into our enemies, right? Because the Lord knew what He had set up for the children of Israel, right? He knew that there was going to be powerful nations we had to take down. So if we say in our heart, these nations are more than I, how can I depossess them? Keep reading, King.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember that the Most High thy Elohim did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt.
You see that, man? He sent us into Canaan, right? We supposed to be feeling good about what the Most High did to us, did to Egypt for the children of Israel, right? He put His power on display, right? To not only make a name with the nations, but make a name with the children of Israel, so they could see what kind of power they serve, right? So you wouldn't have that fear in your heart, and to say if we took down the Egyptians, we shouldn't be scared of no other nations, right? Right? If the Lord's going to deal with Egypt like this, how's He going to deal with the Canaanites? How's He going to deal with the Hittites, right? The Assyrians, the Babylonians, right? That's why we shouldn't fear these other nations, because the Passover is a prime example. We shouldn't fear America, right? Because the Lord, hey, we didn't pick up no stones or no spears or have no guns, right? The Lord did all this Himself, right? He took down Egypt and Pharaoh all by himself. You see that? So the Lord, he's building up the children of Israel, and he's showing them what kind of God they serve, what kind of power that the children of Israel serve. You can keep reading on that, King.
Verse 19. The great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm, whereby the Most High thy Elohim brought thee out, so shall the Most High thy Elohim do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Verse
All
20.
all praise. Hold right there for a second. Another thing too, man, the Most High put that power on display because he knew, man, that there was going to be an urgency, or not an urgency, but there was going to be a temptation, man, to follow these other nations, right? You got to think what our people seen in Egypt, right? We've been in Egypt, right? We're watching them serve all these different gods, right? We're watching them do all these weird sacrifice and all these heathen customs. So the Lord, he put his power on display so we wouldn't go off, man, and start serving in idolatry, right? What do you need to deal with these other heathen nations when you serve the power of the Most High, right? You serve the Creator of heaven and earth, right? So there's many reasons, man, why all these things had come into place. You see that he was showing the children of Israel that you don't have to serve these heathen gods, these heathen nations, man. You don't have to serve no other power. You serve me, right? He made a name for himself um, for the children of Israel, and he destroyed the heathen at the same time. Keep reading, King.
Verse 20. Moreover, the Most High thy Elohim will send the hornet among them, until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21. Thou shalt not be affrighted at them, for the Most High thy Elohim is among you, a mighty Elohim and terrible.
You see that, man? Well, these were all lessons to teach the children of Israel. You don't have to fear these other nations, man. Look what I did to Pharaoh, right? I'm getting ready to send you into the promised land, into the land of Canaan, right? This is what kind of power you serve. You don't have to fear none of these wicked heathen nations. Keep going on that, King.
Verse 22. And the Most High thy Elohim will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. Verse 23. But the Most High thy Elohim shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction, until they be destroyed.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna read down to 25.
Verse 24. And he shall deliver their kings unto thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee, until thou have destroyed them. 25. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver, nor the gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination unto the Most High thy Elohim.
All praise to the Most High, man. So I just wanted to kick it off to just try to bring out the memorial of the Passover, right? To just praise the Most High, man, for what He did for us in Egypt, man. Right? We had Pharaoh over us as taskmasters in bondage in Egypt, man. Right? So we can keep this as a memorial, right? Teaching the children of Israel not to be scared of these heathen nations, right? Remembering what the Most High did for us, right? And remembering what kind of power we serve, right? Because it's a powerful thing, man. This Passover, right? Like I said, I was my spirit was amped up, man. Reading back over this the Exodus, man, right? Because just the power we serve and how the Most High loves the children of Israel, right? What He did, man, to these other nations for us, right? This is something we supposed to remember, constantly, right? We supposed to meditate on this thing, right? How He destroyed one of the powerfulest nations that were in the world at that time for the children of Israel. Mahar, can you pull up Judith chapter 5, and we're gonna start at verse 3.
Con.
All praises, man. So Yeah, I just want to start off with that little introduction. We're gonna get into some history, right? How our people ended up in Egypt, right? Some history on the nation of Israel, and I'm gonna be pulling up some information, man. Like I was reading a book, right? I don't know if you can see it, but it says, let me see here, illustrated manners and customs of the Bible, right? I got a little bit of history out of this book that I was reading, and it was I got it, man. For it just goes into certain details and stuff, and like anything, man, right? You could chew up the meat and spit out the bones. There's some stuff in there that I don't dabble in or deal with too much, but it was just going into the history of Egypt, and it was saying, right, like we all know the history and the story of the flood, what happened, and we know the nations that came out of the flood, and just from my understanding and what I've been meditating on, man, a lot of these Hamite nations were strong after the flood, right? You had Nimrod rise up, right? You had the Hittites rise up, right? You had Egypt rise up. You see Ham in the beginning after the flood. You see these Hamite nations being strong nations, right? Being powerful nations. And from what that book was going into, it was saying that Egypt basically came of power about 3000 BC. So this isn't no new nation at that time. These were a strong, powerful nation. You know what I'm saying? They had been rooted and been around for a while. After the flood, they found their homeland or whatever land that they occupied, and this was a strong power. You know what I mean? They had been around for a while. Very very similar to America. A world power at that time, heavy with trade. Agriculture, dealing in all kind of precious metals and golds. So this wasn't a small task. This was a strong, powerful nation. Um, so you can read that. Whoever wants to read that, start at verse 3.
I got you, King.
Uh,
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 3. It
hmm
says, "And he said unto them, Tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army?"
So these are a bunch of heathens, man, powwowing together, and they're getting ready to give a history of the Israelites, right? I figured this would be a smart, powerful way to start off the lesson and to get some understanding on the children of Israel and how we actually had our beginning, how we came into Egypt, and so forth. Keep reading, King.
Come. It says, "And why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west?"
We're going to read down to verse 11.
Come. Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, Let my lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. This people are descended of the Chaldeans.
Right. So we know this isn't talking literally our bloodline, right? Because we know that we come out of Shem, we don't come out of Ham, right? But we know that Abraham, he lived with the Chaldeans, right? He lived in their area, right? We know that we come out of Shemitic bloodline, right? We come out of the sons of the Most High God, right? This is before we actually formed up ourselves and formed ourselves into a nation. We were basically like the sons of Shem. We were like the sons of the Most High God, right? You can keep reading.
Come. And they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea.
And that's basically Abraham, right? He didn't serve the same gods his father served, right? He served the Most High God, right? He wasn't into the paganistic, uh, heathen ways that some of the other men before him served, right? So he had to sojourn out of that land. Keep reading.
Come. It says, Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt, and were increased with gold and silver, and with very much cattle.
And this is where we start getting the promises at, right? This is where we start getting the covenant, right? The Lord promised that land of Canaan to us, right? To Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So the Lord's taking us to our land that we're going to dwell in, that the Lord's going to give us, right, in future times, right? This is covering Abraham, our forefather. Keep going.
God. It says, but when a famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt and sojourned there, while they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation.
Right. And if you don't know, this is going into the story of Joseph, right? He went into Egypt, right? He was a slave at one time, and with the wisdom and the power of the Most High God, man, he rose up into second in command in Egypt, right? He was basically second in command of Pharaoh, and like the Bible goes into a famine that happened. Basically, the Scripture says in Genesis 40, I believe the 41st chapter, it says that Joseph saved the whole world, right? Because a famine hit the whole world, every nation started to descend onto Egypt, right? And he had to understand it, man, to start stacking food up, start saving food, start saving resources, because there was going to be 7 years of famine, right? So Joseph, he basically saved the Egyptians, and he saved the whole world. The Bible talks about, because it says every nation was coming to him, wanting to get resources. So our forefather Joseph, he was a mighty man, and we know that Jacob, his forefather or his father, he went into Egypt also for resources, so they could also eat. Right? You read verse 11, King, and that'll be it on that.
It says, therefore, the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them and brought them low with laboring in brick and made them slaves.
Right, and just like I was going into, man, I'm not going to harping too much on the history in the beginning, but right, the scripture says that new rulers came into Egypt, right? So we're not exactly clear about what that means, right? I've heard people break down that the Hyksos ruled Egypt at that time. Um, I've heard that the Ethiopians came in because at one time they reigned over Egypt, but the Bible says that the new rulers, they didn't know of Joseph, right? So new rulers came into Egypt, and basically they didn't know what Joseph did. Because think about it, if the old pharaohs were in, they would have history and stories of what Joseph did, how he saved all of Egypt out of that famine, right? You're not just going to do them like that, right? Unless you wicked as hell, right? So Joseph, he saved Egypt from that famine, but it said that another king rose up that didn't know of Joseph, and he basically made slaves out of the children of Israel, right? So that's basically where Exodus picks up, right? This is basically how we got into Egypt at that time, right? This is how we formed ourselves, came up together, sojourned into Egypt, and started to come into nationhood, right? So let me
Hey, Salakia, you could say that Joseph was stacking the bricks.
calm, man. Hey, Joseph was like a savior, man. He was like he helped bring salvation, man, really at that time. You know what I mean? Because through the slave, being a slave, and then rising up in Egypt, right? Like that was powerful what Joseph did, but we know that was of the Most High, man, right? But yeah, man, like it's crazy because me and the Captain Shoe was talking about it. Like all of our captivities that we went through, we kind of brought on ourselves, right? With idolatry and things of that nature. But you really don't read what the children of Israel did to get this captivity, right? Like how did Joseph save Egypt, but then all of a sudden, man, in the next verse or whatever, we're slaves, right? We didn't really bring this captivity on us unless we're going back into what our forefathers did, Adam or the forefathers of Abraham, right? Like, do we serve that captivity for that? But that's what I was bringing out. That's what I was bringing out earlier about the Lord declaring His name in Egypt, right? Like all this is part of the Most High's plan, right? To show the children of Israel the power that they serve, right? To show them what salvation is, right? To show them to not fear the other nations, and to make a name for itself, right? Like this is still one of the biggest biblical narratives that's talked about today, right? So the Most High, man, he did that. He for sure did that, man. And a lot of these nations, man, they know this account, right, from what the Most High did, and he knows, and they know that he saved the children of Israel. So I'm gonna briefly we're basically gonna do a little summary of the Exodus. I'm not gonna read through every. Obviously, I can't read through all 12 or 14 chapters, but we're gonna mix it up and try to just shed some light on the power of the Most High, man. Right? Because all through the scriptures, he's called the great and terrible power. Right? The
Hey,
other nations know
Slakia,
his power.
if we, just to land me back off your point, Slakia, if we go down to that verse 17, that'll show you exactly why we were put why we were put into bondage, right? It says, and whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. So they tricked or they like the verse said before. It said that the Pharaoh dealt subtly with us, right? He did it underlying. He did it. He snuck in. He snuck it under the rug, and you know, he pulled us into sin, into idolatry, and all that stuff.
Hey, that's a strong point. I'm gonna be going into that a little bit later, right? Like the Bible doesn't really give a shalom to the captain, mighty Yashuv in the building, shalom cap. The Bible doesn't go into deep detail, but just through my studies and my understanding, right? Like you got to imagine what the children of Israel was seeing. We stayed there what 400 and some years. You can only imagine what the children of Israel was seeing. The children of Ham do, the Egyptians, like what kind of sacrifices they were doing. Calling out to their gods, and I'm gonna kind of get into that a little bit. Um, Especially like the account of the golden calf, right? Because where did they get that from, right? If they formed a nation in the Egypt, right, and then we know in Exodus 32 they started doing the golden calf. Like, where did they get that from? They had to get that out of Egypt, right? They had to see some of the pagan god. Yeah, there you go, right? They had to see this stuff in the Egypt, right? But I'm gonna go into that in a little bit in this lesson about the idolatry worship and worshiping the idols of these other nations, right? Sun worship, worshiping planets and other gods. But yeah, man, like you have to think, man, that some of that stuff in Egypt, man, was rubbing off on the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that stuff and seeing their sacrifices, uh, watching them worship their pagan gods and their pagan idols. So the Most High is like, man, I gotta get my children up out of here, right? Because it's wicked as hell. But let's kick it off, man. Can you pull up the Exodus, man, and start at chapter 1, Ephraim? Pull up Exodus 1 for me, and we're gonna start at verse 7. Like I said, I'm not gonna try to read through the whole Passover, the whole story, but we're gonna do like a little quick summary, and I'm gonna break down a few points here and there. Just try to give some understanding, some edification for the people. All praise to the Most High. Anybody want to read that? We can start at verse 7.
Damn, don't nobody jump at once. The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
You see that? So the new king, he was like, man, he was like, we got enemies that come into Egypt. The children of Israel might band together with them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they dealt crafty with our people. They used crafty counsel, and That's what the heathen does, right? That's taught all the way through the Bible. Right? The Pharaoh and these kings in Egypt, man, they dealt with our people with crafty counsel, right? They feared our people, you know. Scripture says we was multiplying, right? Wherever we go, the children of Israel is going to multiply. So they had fear. They had fear that they were going to be overtook by the children of Israel. Read that verse 11, King.
Con. Hey, but look, that's what's happening right now.
Come, we everywhere we go, we wax stronger and stronger and mightier and more Israelites and more children. And
Right.
come,
Look at Black Wall Street.
that's right. Yeah, we teach that all the time though. Even in slavery, man, we're always more powerful and more stronger than the other nations. You know what I'm saying? We're even when we're in our lowest state, we still it's kind of like we still have that power from the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Make that make sense. Even at a lowest state, we still shine.
Yeah, that's how you can tell the Most High be with us, man. Right?
Mhm.
That's how you can tell we're the children of Israel.
Uh,
Read that verse 11, King.
Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
So I'm not going to read all the way down into that, but you know the story. Like the Judith was saying, man, we basically we went there to sojourn during a famine, and before you know it, we were slaves in that land. We just like we built up America, Persia, all these empires, we built up Egypt. Right, that was something that just overtook us, man. Right, we had to serve Pharaoh, man, under hard bondage and rigor, man. Right, we had to build up his kingdom. Um, can you um can you go to Exodus 3, Mahar? We're gonna go drop down about Exodus 3. We're gonna start at verse 7.
Hmm.
Oh no, Slakia. Yeah. I'm sorry. Exodus 3. We're gonna start at verse 7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3, and verse 7. It says, And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows.
Hmm.
And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites.
We was getting ready to take over another Hamite nation. Keep
Now,
read verse 9, King.
come. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
So that's something I was meditating on too, right? Like I was thinking about this hard, meditating on it. Like what father, if you don't see your children crying, what father could see his children crying and not feel sympathy for them, right? How can you not? What father, what mother, what father wouldn't see his wife crying out and not feel sympathy for her, right? So it's just like the heavenly Father with us, right? It says, "Behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come unto me," right? And that's what I was teaching on the streets Saturday, right? Like whenever we cried out to the Most High God, He heard our cries, right? But if our people aren't crying out to Him, then how's He going to hear that, right? How's He going to hear our cries if our people aren't crying to Him, if our people ain't pleading, if our people aren't praying to the Most High God? If we're happy in our captivity, how's the Most High going to hear us, right? So that means we got to continue to cry out to the Lord, man.
Hey, Salakia. Hey, I got a precept that go with that.
Bring it out, King.
Con, this the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4. It says, And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right? That's going into, like you were saying about, crying out to the Most High. Right? We supposed to be crying out, saying the condition that we in, being in this captivity, right? Because this world is wicked, just like it was in ancient Egypt, right? The Lord said this is spiritual Egypt, going back to that Revelation 11, because all the wickedness that they was doing in Egypt is the same thing they doing now, right? All the witchcraft, right? The sodomy, right? All the idolatry, all those things take place in America, right? Right? Having God's chosen people in captivity, right? It's the same thing that we went through during that time, right? But that was all I had on that.
Con, it made me think about that First Kings 8:47, right, where he said, we were in the land of our captivity. I'm paraphrasing, but we were in the land of our captivity. We had to repent and cry out to the Most High God. But this is I'm gonna read this precept right quick. This is Baruch chapter 4 verse 27. It says, "Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of Him that brought these things upon you. For as it was Salakia, for as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek Him 10 times more." So it's all through the scriptures, right? We have to cry to the Most High God, man, especially when we're, the conditions our people are in, right? We're in these bondage and these slaveries, and we gotta watch these heathen nations do all kind of sorcery and witchcraft and wickedness in their kingdom, man, right? We weren't we weren't we weren't made to be slaves, man. We were made to be kings and priests and rulers, right? But yeah, we're gonna be going into that a little bit also, man. Right? Our people gotta cry out to the Most High God, man. Right? Because that's how we're gonna get salvation, right? But like I said, if we ain't crying out to the Most High God, how's He gonna hear our cries, right? If we're just happy in Babylon, in Egypt, and Rome and Greece, and wherever our people are spread out, how's the Most High going to know, man, that we need salvation, right? So it's
Salaki.
go ahead, King.
No, that's powerful because, like we just brought out in Ezekiel, he said he gonna set a mark upon those that sign that in that cry.
Uh,
You see that?
Hey,
yeah,
and
man.
also instead, what they do is they cry for Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, man, because America and all these heathen nations, man, they try to teach our people, man, that this isn't a slavery, that we're all being accepted. You teach that feminist equality movement, and we're all, it makes you subtile, it makes you weak, man, to the conditions you're in. So it's definitely crafty counsel, because now they got you thinking that you're not even a slave, man, right? But where's our army, man? Where's our might, right? Where's the money with our faces on it, right? Where's our army at, right? Where's our nation at, right? I mean, it's spiritual because it's just like the time of Egypt, right? We just building up this kingdom for Pharaoh, right? We just building up their kingdom so they can, live on these golf courses and have these exotic homes. And they don't do nothing, but we do all the work, and we just get, we get very little while they enjoy their kingdom, man, right? So just going off of that, man, we had to cry out to the Most High, man, and remember these things, man. Remember the days of old, not get caught up in wanting to serve Pharaoh and continuously being slaves, right? But Ephraim, can you go? Can you pull up Exodus 6, man?
Con.
Go to Exodus 6 and start at verse 1. All praise to the Most High, man. This is when you start to see. This is when you start to see our forefather, the mighty Levite. He comes in, you know, Pharaoh, man. I'm not the story's too long for me to touch on every topic, but I'm gonna try to do a good summary on it. And we know Moses, man. We know that Pharaoh, he was killing the firstborn of our people, and we know Moses was one of them. And we know he was took in by Pharaoh's, I believe it was his daughter or one of his family members. And yeah, he was basically raised up like an Egyptian, right? But we know the Most High, he called on Moses, man, to be help to be a savior for our people, right? We all know the story of Moses and how the Most High chose him to free our people out of the land of Pharaoh. But you can read that whenever you're ready, King.
Con. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 6, and verse 1. It says, Then Yahweh said unto Moses, Now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land.
Con, I'm gonna have you read down to verse 3.
John. It says, And God spake unto Moses and said unto him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty. But by my name Yahweh was I not known to them.
You see that? So the Most High is revealing his name to the children of Israel, right? He's getting Moses suited up and booted up, man, to go ahead and take care of this thing, right? To go up to Pharaoh, man, right? We're getting ready to get salvation for our people, right? The Most High did it. He used Moses as a vessel, right? The saying, man, let my people go, right? Because Moses, man, he was a powerful brother, right? Says he was a meek brother, but he was powerful, man. Right? It's a powerful forefathers of our people, man. The powerful tribe of Levi. Can you drop down to 5, King? Read 5 for me, right quick.
Con. It says, And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant.
You see that the covenant was made to our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? The Lord said that was going to be an everlasting covenant, man. So He remembered the covenant He made with our forefathers, and he heard the groaning of the children of Israel, just like we was going into, right? Our people crying out, right? Just like today, building up these kingdoms of these heathens, right? And the Most High wasn't having that, man, right? The Most High seen His children, man, in bondage. He said, man, I got to get them up out of there, right? I get them to this promised land that He promised our forefathers Abraham, man, right? Land flowing with milk and honey, right? But yeah, we had to take down these Hamite nations, right? We had to take out these heathen nations, and with the strength of the Most High, man, that's what we get ready to get into. Can you drop down to chapter 7, King, and start at verse 1?
Con. The book of Exodus, chapter 7, and verse 1. It says, And Yahweh said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet.
And that's what we was going into earlier, just like the brother Mahar was bringing out, right? Even when in our captivity, man, we like a god to these other nations, right? Going into Psalms 82 and 6, right? The Lord said, we're like gods on the earth, man, and not the Most High God, but we're like gods, man, right? We're like many gods, right? We're not the Most High God, right? But we're gods on the earth, man, right? And that's what the Most High did with Moses, right? He said he was going. It's Salakia. It says, "See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet." You see that? So he was raising up the children of Israel at this time to rule over these other nations, man. Right? To be a power to Pharaoh, man. So we could show Pharaoh, man, like, look, this is what it's going to be. This is the power we serve. We got to get up out of here, man. Right? We had to show him the strength of the Most High God, man. Read 2, King. We're gonna read down to 3 on that.
God. Verse 2, it says, Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land.
Keep going.
And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt.
You see that? And this is where you start getting into these plagues, right? The Most High said He was going to bring plagues to Egypt, man. And like I said, this was a strong nation at this time, man. Strong in trading and merchandise, and had slaves, and basically like a mirror image of America, man. Right? Lived off the river, man, where they could, they had agriculture and farming. So this was a powerful heathen nation at that time. But the Most High, man, he showed them who the true power was, right? Go down to verse 19, King.
Con. Verse 19. It says, And Yahweh spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, Take thy rod, and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone.
Keep going.
And Moses and Aaron did so. So Yahweh commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants. And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood.
You see that? So the Most High, man, he's just beginning just to start to show his power, man, right? Through Moses and Aaron, turning a river into blood, killing off their fish, right? So they can't fish in the river, right? Just starting to bring plagues on the Pharaoh, man, to show him what kind of power, man, he's dealing with, right? Read 21, King.
Con, verse 21, it says, And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt.
Right, like I said, man, he's starting to put these plagues on them. And you know what's crazy? You go back, you go down in the chapter. We're not going to read. Like I said, our time is limited, so we're not going to try to read every part of it. We're just going to give a good summary. But you know, like Pharaoh had wise men and sorcerers and magicians to try to mimic some of the things Moses and Aaron was doing. But we know, man, like we're not supposed to be dealing in, as far as the children of Israel, we're not supposed to be dealing with like divination and sorcery and stuff like that. Now the Most High, he'll show his power, and you know what I mean, we can have spiritual powers and stuff like that, but we're not supposed to be dealing in all this wicked magic and all these things that Pharaoh and his servants was dealing with, right? Our power comes from the Most High God, man. We can't be dealing in all kind of sorcery and enchantments and all kind of wickedness that these other nations deal with. But yeah, you're starting to see these plagues kick off, and what the Most High is doing, man, to bring Pharaoh's kingdom down. Let's go into start at verse 8. Start at chapter 8, Mahar. Like I said, I'm not going to read through all these plagues and every single one of them, but we're just trying to get an understanding of what's going on.
The book of Exodus, chapter 8, and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith Yahweh, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
Mm-hmm.
And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs.
Right.
And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thy kneading troughs.
Right. So the Most High, man, he's just showing his power, man, in the land of Egypt, man. He's messing with their water. He's messing with their water supply, right? He's bringing all kind of animals on them, right? He's just showing the beginning of the strength of his power, man, right? Just to stir up stuff, just to put a little thorn in these Egyptian sides. And like I said, they had magicians and stuff like that trying to imitate the power of the Most High God, man. But that only took them so far, right? That only took them so far in this thing. Can you drop down to verse 15, King?
Okay. Verse 15, it says, But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh had said.
Mm-hmm. Keep going on that.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch out thy rod and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt.
You see that? So the Most High, man, like I said, he's just bringing plagues, man, on these people, man. Just slowly starting to crumble their kingdom. And really, it's like symbolic for America because you're really starting to see America crumble, right? You're starting to see the dollar bill fall. You're starting to see inflations, right? You're starting to see plagues hit America, man, right? You got the American, so-called American white man is turning effeminate, right? Nobody wants to join the military, right? Uh, the women want to rule over the men in this country, right? You seeing them just it's very symbolic for America crumbling, right? You see certain things happening, right? People's not trusting America, trying to wage war on it, right? Not using their dollar bill. Inflation's at an all-time high. So the Most High, man, he's just showing his power, right? He's slowly starting to take Pharaoh down. Read on verse 19.
Khan, can you hear me?
Yeah, come on. Loud and clear.
Okay, log yeah. I was changing to my microphone.
Yeah.
Uh, verse
Nah, you
19.
good. You good.
Okay. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God.
Hey, what the Bible say?
This is the finger of God."
Hey, them that it shows you, man. Them servants, they're starting to see, like, man, this is crazy right here. They call it the finger of the Most High God, right? Keep reading.
And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them as Yahweh had said.
And yeah, man, like that's another thing. The Most High, man, he kept hardening Pharaoh's heart, right? As these plagues would happen, he would he's ba- the way I read it and understand it, he's basically playing Pharaoh like a fiddle, man. He's just literally playing with him because the minute Pharaoh starts to see stuff different, he just keeps hardening his heart, right? So he can keep putting these plagues on Pharaoh, man, right? One minute he feels some relief, then he wants to harden his heart back up, right? So he's literally just destroying Pharaoh, plague by plague, man, right? Go into drop down to chapter 9, Mahar.
Khan.
Start at verse 3.
The book of Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 3. Behold, the hand of Yahweh is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain.
Read verse 4 for me.
And Yahweh shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel's.
Hey, it's important to remember, man, that none of these plagues hit the children of Israel, right? All this stuff that Egypt was going through, all this stuff stayed with the Egyptians, right? I believe Israel lived in the land of Goshen, right? And none of this stuff affected the children of Israel, right? They lived in the area of Egypt, but all this stuff was just subjugated to the Egyptians. We didn't have to deal with these plagues, even though we live nearby these heathens, man, right? So all this stuff was grievous to Pharaoh and his house, right? The children of Israel didn't have to deal with none of this stuff, right? We didn't have to lose any cattle or any of these other plagues that came upon us, right? Um, let's see here. Drop down to 14, Mahar. Read that for me, King.
Khan. Verse 14, it says, "For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth."
You see that? The Most High, man, he's declaring his name amongst these heathens, man. Right? Matter of fact, we're gonna go back to that, man. But can you let's see here. Can you pull another precept up for me, Mahar? Can you pull up Malachi 1 and 14?
Khan.
Mm-hmm. All praise to the Most High, man. Right? He made his name off of these Egyptians, man, and that's what the Most High does, man. Making his name, declaring his name, man, from taking kingdoms down, man, destroying these heathen kingdoms. You can read that whenever you're ready, King.
Yeah, I
Con,
could.
I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the spirit because I was just finna pull that too.
All praise.
But this Malachi 1 and 14, it says, "But cursed be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male, and voweth and sacrificeth unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen."
All praise to the Most High, man. Right? Just going over this and the Lord bringing these plagues on to Egypt. Right? He you constantly see that he was going to declare his name and show the whole world his power uh, with the plagues that he put on them. And amongst these heathens, man, he said his name is dreadful, right? And even with our people, man, they think, they think the Most High, man, he's we know the Most High is just, man, right? But when we think about evil and we think about like bad so-called bad things happening to the earth, man, like the Most High does all these things, right? He says, "I create evil and I create good," right? So like the precept says, "My name is dreadful among these heathens," right?
Hey,
They
hey,
go ahead, King,
Salaki, I got a precept.
bring it out.
This the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse. I'm gonna start at 14. It says, "The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen," and that's what you're going into, right? During the time of the Exodus, the Lord overthrew Egypt, which at that point in time was a great nation, right? It says, "The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them, and have made their memorial to cease from the earth." Because if you really look at it, even historically, after the Exodus, Egypt was never the same after that.
That's right.
Like you still had other, dynasties, that happened in Egypt, but it was never the same world power as it was, before the time of the or after the time of the Exodus.
Yeah, like that book that I was showing, the illustrated manners and customs of the Bible. It was really going into how powerful Egypt was at that time. Like I said, heavy in merchandise, trade, agriculture, right? Bringing slaves in, building up. I mean, you see during that time what kind of so-called monuments they were building, right? All those uh, pyramids and all kind of statues and right, like Yashawan was saying, right? It's very similar to America. We know America's, quote unquote, worldly strong nation, right? So Egypt at that time, there was a powerful nation at that time. I got a couple of precepts I want to read. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 99, verse 3, and it reads, "Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy." Right? Like the scripture says, man, the Most High, man, his name is great and terrible. You know what I mean? And he's showing it. He's showing it. He's showing it in this account that we're going through. Right? The biblical narrative, man. Right? Our people got to actually understand what kind of God they serve, man. Right? The Lord's about a just balance. Right? So he can't let wickedness just go on and on like this. You know what I'm saying? He has to be balanced, man. The Most High, he said, a false balance is abomination. Right? So the Lord is just, right? As a man sows, he's going to reap, right? And we know Egypt at that time, they were sowing a lot of wickedness on the earth, man, right? Praising all kind of false idol gods, and having his children, man, the children of Israel in bondage. I got another precept. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 29. Right? It says, "The Lord is terrible and very great, and marvelous is his power." Right? Yeah, man. The Most High is not about a bunch of games, right? And we're gonna get into it. Um, the first couple plagues in the beginning, they weren't as powerful as the latter end, but still, man, he's just put cracks in their kingdom, right? Even like I say, even the servants of Pharaoh knew, man, that this is the finger of God, right? So they knew about the Most High God, then, right? We know Noah had, we know Most High, he was Noah was serving the Most High God, so Abraham was serving the Most High God, right? It's just these other wicked kingdoms. They start making gods of their own, man, right? But just going on, just continuing on that. Um, Mahar, where we stop at on that Exodus? Um,
I believe we stopped at verse 7.
I know we were at chapter 9. Um, let's see here. Start at 9 and go to verse 24.
Con.
Exodus 9 and 24.
Verse 24. Let's pull it up over here.
Mhm.
It says, "So there was hail and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation."
So you see, man, the Most High, man, he's starting to really get into this thing. He's dropping hail and fire, destroying crops and whatever that this hail would destroy, man. Read 25 for us, King.
Con. It says, "And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field."
You see that? Like he's really starting to destroy Pharaoh's kingdom, man. Because now your food source, right? Your food source is starting to get low. He's destroying the herbs of the field and your crops, right? He's starting to take them out, starting to take your trees out. And it's symbolic for America, right? You're gonna have food shortages going on, right? These tractor trailers are gonna stop bringing food, right? Walmart's not gonna be around after a while, right? It's little things you do, man, to destroy kingdoms, and food supply is a big thing, right? So he's starting to show, man, his power and really get into these plagues, man, right? Read 26, man, Mahar.
Con. It says, "Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail."
You see that? So the children of Israel, they didn't have to go through these plagues, man, right? Only the heathen had to, right? The Most High didn't. He spared the children of Israel. They didn't have to. They didn't have to worry about their crops being destroyed. They didn't have to worry about their fields being destroyed, right? All this was for Pharaoh and his servants and his kingdom, right? Drop down go to chapter 10 for me, Mahar.
Con. Start at 1.
Uh, yeah, we're gonna read just 1 and 2, I believe.
Okay. The
Mhm.
book of Exodus, chapter 10, and verse 1. "And Yahweh said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart, and the heart of his servants, that I might show these my signs before him."
Like I said, man, just when Pharaoh has a quote unquote change of mind, right? The Lord comes back and hardens his heart, man. He's literally playing Pharaoh like a fiddle or like an instrument, man. Right? Got this dude all messed up, man. Right? Destroying this cat. Shalom, everybody tuning in. Shalom. Yeah, man. Lord, man, he's really getting into this thing and showing his power, man. And he's hardening Pharaoh's heart at the same time, so he can continue to put his wrath on Pharaoh, man. Right? The Most High did this for the children of Israel. We got to be mindful of this thing, man. Right? This
Hey,
should
but
this
look at this. Hey, Salaki, real quick. In Dubai, these bastards got uh, like damn near a year's worth of rain the other day,
Con, I seen
right?
that.
Because they, and it flooded all of Dubai.
You saw planes were trying to take off, but they were in a pool of water. How do you take off in a pool of water? It's very hard. But they talk about that it's cloud seeding that they're doing. Yeah, you could do cloud seeding, but the Most High put it in your heart to do that cloud seeding, right? I don't know if anybody can see my air quotes through the microphone, but he put it in their heart to try to do this, and the Lord is giving them that illusion that they have some kind of control.
Hey, what was that happened last year? Was it a mudslide or earthquake, or it killed like 40,000 people? I think it was Syria or one of those countries.
I think it was Turkey.
Turkey.
Yeah, in Turkey they were, hey, the Lord hit them with a mighty, mighty earthquake, right? And that earthquake killed a lot of people. I think the total was about 90,000.
See that? Hey, the Most High, man, the great and terrible power, man. Right? They don't be playing, man. Especially with these heathens, man. He be taking them out, right? I mean, just destroying them off the face of the earth, man. Right? That's why we gotta get ourselves together, Israel. We gotta come back to the Most High, man. For real. We don't want to see the wrath of the Most High, man. Right? When he really destroys this place, man. We gotta get our spirit in check, man. Realize what kind of power we serve, man, these last days, man. Right? You seeing all kind of stuff happening, man. Like, what was that happening in Russia? People going in buildings, shooting, having shootings and stabbing sprees in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm constantly.
Man,
I'm
a priest got knocked out. Right, he got started. Some dude, just a 16-year-old, I think it was, just walked up to the pulpit, just started punching him in his face, and then took out a knife and started stabbing him.
Hey, think I posted it on the group chat, man. But like in Chicago, man, they said it was like a party or something during the weekend, and like all these kids got shot up. A bunch of people got shot, shooting little kids up. Like, man, it's like all hell breaking loose out here, man. For real, it's like judgment happening every hour, man. You know. So the Most High, man, he's not playing, man. You got something, Yashua? All praise to the Most High, man. So read verse 2 for me, King.
Khan. It says, and that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son and thy son's son what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know how that I am Yahweh.
Khan. And yeah, so this is a part of the lesson, man, that I wanted to kind of make just a little small detour on, man, because like I said in the beginning of the lesson, you know, one reason the Most High did this, man, is to show what kind of power and what kind of God we serve, man, right? To keep Israel away from idolatry and idol worship, right? Because we know, man, reading on in the scriptures, that that's something that our people will struggle with, and even to this day, man, you know, these heathens give us Caesar Borgia, right? You got so-called Islam, right? The Lord said, man, we would serve wood, man, and stone, right? So, you know, I was meditating on that idolatry worship hard, man, because that's something, man, that our people still struggle with. And the Most High, man, he's showing his power in Egypt, right? To say, hey, look, you serve the Most High God, right? I'm doing this for you. You don't have to go out and serve these idols, man, right? And I was meditating on that Matthew 19, where the Messiah was breaking down adultery, and he was saying, man, that the only reason, you know what I mean, you can divorce your wife is over adultery, right? And if you think about it, right, because like he was saying, Moses wrote a bill of divorcement, right? But from the beginning, it was not so. Whatever the Most High put together, and I'm paraphrasing, but whatever the Most High put together, let no man tear asunder, right? So biblically, man, right, the Messiah is teaching that you can only divorce your wife, man, over adultery, because you know, back in the day, brother, find any reason, man. She don't do this right, do that right, whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? Brother want to divorce his rib. But the Lord taught us, man, the Messiah taught us that only through adultery can you divorce your wife, man. And if you think about it, it's spiritual because the Most High, His wrath really gets hot on Israel when they perform spiritual idolatry, meaning serving other gods. You see what I'm saying?
Con.
See how that goes together, right? I mean, the Most High, man, He's perfect with this thing. You see what I'm saying? The Lord said the only way you could divorce is adultery, and I'm not gonna say the only time the Most High gets hot with us, but like these slaveries and this captivity and this hard bondage and the wrath that we feel from the Most High, a lot of times in the Scripture, man, it's spiritual idolatry, pouring ourselves out for other gods and other nations, man, serving these other nations. So I wanted to just make a little small detour right quick in the lesson, man. Ephraim, can you bring up Acts chapter 7 and go to verse 36? Right?
Con.
We just do a little small detour right quick and just bring something out. Hopefully it's edifying for the people.
So like you said 736?
Yeah, come. I'm just gonna do a little teaching, man, on staying away from these idols, man. Right? Getting away from this idol worship, man. You seeing, man, in this Exodus, man, the power that we serve, man, how the Most High, man, destroyed nations for the children of Israel, right? So we just gotta know what kind of power we serve in these last days. You can read 36, and I think we're gonna read down to 41, King.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
Aniel, you want this?
Con, I got you, King. It's Acts 7 and 36.
Mm-hmm.
Con, this is the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 36. He brought them out after that he had showed wonders and signs in the land of Egypt, and in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness for 40 years.
So that's what we're going into now, right? That's the same account that we're going into in Exodus, Salakia. You keep reading, King.
Verse 37. This is that Moses, which said unto the children of Israel, a prophet shall the Most High raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, him shall ye hear.
Mm-hmm.
38. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, who received the lively oracles to give unto us.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 39. To whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust him from them, and in their hearts turned back again unto Egypt.
Right.
Verse 40. Saying unto Aaron, make us gods to go before us. For as for this Moses, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
Mm-hmm.
41. And they made a calf in those days, and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands.
So just like just kind of going a little farther in the story, man, you see in Exodus the 32nd chapter, man, where there it is right there, right? They start going into idol worship, right? They start making idols for themselves, right? And they start they basically the things that they seen in Egypt, you see our people starting to follow, right? And we're gonna break that down, man, because a lot of this goes into sun worship, right? You see the little circle above the calf's head. A lot of this goes into worshiping the gods of Egypt, man. Because you got to think, man, like our people went into Egypt with just Jacob and his children, right? And then we ended up being we ended up turning into a powerful nation, right? Hundreds of thousands of us, right? So did we pick up things in Egypt while we were there, right? How do we go from being small few numbers and Jacob serving the Most High God, and then we going off in the wilderness and we start making golden calves and idols, right? We had to see things in Egypt that was forbidden for us to follow. You can go back to that, Ephraim. Back to that Acts right quick. Now read down. Let's read 42 and 43.
Verse 42. Then the Most High turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven,
Mm-hmm.
as it is written in the book of the prophets. O ye house of Israel, have ye offered me to have you offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness?
You see that? So the host of heaven, man, like that sun or that circle that was above that bull's head, man, that's going into sun worship, right? Because we know that these other nations, right? They have several gods, and their gods are, they break them down into sun god and moon god and fertility gods and all this stuff, right? So that's where you get to worship the host of heaven from, right? And our people turn into idolatry worship, right? Read verse 43.
Con 43. Yea,
Mm-hmm.
ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon.
Hey, Ephraim, will you blue letter that Rim fan right quick, right? Because a lot of people say that this is the quote unquote shield of David, right? I've heard people teach that uh, not really people in Israel, but I've heard people say, well, that goes into Rim fam and all that. You see that? It says the shrunken Rim fam, the shrunken, the name of an idol worshipped secretly by the Israelites in the wilderness. You see that? So
Yeah.
that you see that? That's right on the money with that golden calf, right? That's what that kind of disapproves that the shield of David, man, right? That has nothing to do with Rim fan. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hey, lock it real quick. So also, they talk about the circle, right, or the star.
Mm-hmm.
Stars are actually circles.
Hey, that's
If you
powerful.
go, yeah, if you go into their own science, right, they say that that stars are actually balls of gas.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful because I was getting ready to go into that, the wisdom of Solomon. But can you go? Matter of fact, you don't even have to go down. Can you read that Strong's definition right quick? Right there at the end, Mahar.
Con. It says by incorrect transliteration for a word of Hebrew origin, Remfram, an Egyptian idol.
A what idol?
An Egyptian idol.
You see that? So these are the customs and traits that our people were picking up, leaving out of Egypt, right?
Hey, Salakia, look at that. When you go into the root word of it for chiyun, it means an image or a pillar, right?
Mm-hmm,
Probably a statue of the Assyrian Babylonian god of
mm-hmm,
the planet Saturn. That goes back to that precept from Acts that
mm-hmm,
talks about them worshiping the host of heaven, right? They
mm-hmm.
worshiping the sun, they worshiping the planets, they worshiping the moon, they worshiping everything else except for the Most High God.
And what I was always taught was Shin or Chayun or whatever, and that other god that we were going into, they're actually the same gods, right? Like all these gods are the same. It's just different nations have different names for them. You see that? So you got New Testament names for them, then you got Old Testament names for them, and that's crazy because I was getting ready to go into Amos about that. So yeah, the spirit's flowing because these are all the same quote unquote idol gods, man. Yup. These are quote unquote all the same idol gods that our people learned out of Egypt, man. Right? That just debunks that uh people will say, well, it's the shield of David, it's a star of this god or star of that god, man. But that's not what we just read. You see what I'm saying? You have to go into this thing and break this thing down. You can read that Amos King.
Khan. The book of Amos, chapter 5, and verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
It says, but ye, as a matter of fact, now that I'm looking at it, if you look at the precept before that, Acts is just reiterating the same exact precept.
You see
It
that?
says, have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? That's literally what Aniel just read.
Mm-hmm.
But ye have borne the tabernacles of your Moloch and Chiun, your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves.
Mm-hmm. You see that? That's crazy, right? That just that's just cutting up that. Well, that's the star of this and star of that. And everybody wanting to come at the shield of David, right? Like that
Mhm.
wasn't. I mean, it's all through the scriptures, man. Just read about the how Solomon built the temple, right?
Right? And you ain't even trying. Like we ain't even trying to do this. It just happens to fall in there.
Huh. Hey, pull up. We read that Amos. Pull up Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and verse 1, right quick. I
Okay.
don't want to detour too far off of it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, and start at verse 1.
The
Right.
book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master,
Read verse 2.
but deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars.
So you see that a star is not a hexagon or image like that. The scripture says a star is a circle image, right? So that just and like I say, when you look at that when you look at that calf that the brother brought up, right? You see the circle above his head, right? So this has a lot to do with sun worship, right? Idol worship, right? Probably a representation of what they were building in the wilderness, right? I'm not gonna try to stay on this topic too long. I just want to show you some of the things that our people picked up in Egypt. That as soon as they got into the wilderness, they started to do. One more precept on that. Can you pull up 2 Kings chapter 23 and go to verse 5, right? Because a lot of this idolatry is in the stars, moon, right? That's why the Lord told us in Jeremiah, man, don't look into the heavens and be dismayed, right? You have people traveling all around the world, man, traveling to different states to see that eclipse, right? When the Lord told us that these are just going to be signs that happen, right? Don't glare up in the don't glare up in the heavens, man, and get dismayed by these signs. You know what I'm saying? But read verse 5 for me, King.
Con.
Con, you got it?
Oh, Con, y'all got it. All right, this eight of Second Kings 23:5, and he put down the idolatrous priests whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places, in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burn incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven.
You see that? So I just wanted to bring that out, man, to show you. First of all, debunk the shield of David being the star of this God and that God. That clearly proved that's not what that's going into, and also show you, man, that the idol worship was a lot of times, man, our people looking into the heavens, man, and starting to worship the creation and over top of the creator. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, Salaki, if I may add fuel to this fire, if we go into the Christian church, right? What's their new day of worship? Sunday, right?
Come,
Well, when you look into the etymology of Sunday, let's break it down. The name Sunday, the day of the sun, is derived from Hellenistic astrology, where 7 planets, known in English as Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon, each had an hour of the day assigned to them. And the planet which was regent during the first hour of any day of the week gave its name to that day. During the first and second centuries, the week of 7 days was introduced into Rome from Egypt, and the Roman names of the planets were given to each successful day. So, Sunday is literally the sun's day, right? And it says here that they gave an hour was assigned for each planet. Well, Esau gave you 1 day to worship the sun for him.
Hey, I see it all the time in my kids' cartoons, man. right? Like you got to be careful that some of these subliminal message Disney and all these people put in it, because the kids will be watching a cartoon, and before I know it, the son's talking. The son's got eyes and a mouth, and it's looking down at the at things in the cartoon talking. Yeah, man. That's why when you see them images of Caesar Borgia, they always got a round circle above his head. You know what I'm saying? That sun worship is bad, man. Like it's always been around. You know what I mean? Right? Worshiping the creation instead of the creator.
So lucky, even going back to Egypt, I believe they had a sun god. I think his name was Amun Ra or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Egypt.
Yeah, these are, man. This Passover and this Exodus is heavy, man. Because the Most High is showing you. You imagine you're literally seeing plagues being brought up on the Egyptians, and still, man, like our people wanted to go off and make their own gods. The Lord's literally showing you the strength of His hand against these heathens, and our people they want to hold on to the customs of the heathen. But like the scripture says, man, there's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? That stuff still
Right.
goes on to this day.
Right. Hey, Captain Shuv on the scene. Shalom, Cap. Yabashim Yashabakata.
Hey,
Shalom.
shalom, shalom, shalom. Yahbashim Yashabarakatam to the Akim and the Aqua. Hey, shalom to the Israelite community. Shalom, shalom. Hey, what's going on, brothers?
Shalom, cat. Y'all Bashem Yashab Barakatah.
Hey,
Praise.
all praise to the Most High, Heavenly Father and Heavenly Son. Hey, mighty lesson you going into, and that's heavy what you're saying because we supposed to glory in the things that the Most High created, you know. And if I could just go to the scripture real quick, Psalms 148. Can you pull that up? Psalms 148 and verse 1. It says, Praise ye Yahweh, praise ye Yahweh from the heavens, praise him in the heights. Verse 2. Praise ye him, all his angels, and praise ye him, all his hosts. Praise ye him, sun and moon. Praise him, all ye stars of light. And when you understand that, these things that were created from Genesis, the first chapter that the Most High put forth, are giving him praise and giving him glory. The same way that we ought to in the earth, when we magnify his name, we go out on the highways and the byways and we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And when you go through the list of this, all the way down, it goes into the list of, fire, hell, snow, vapor, the beast, the creepy things. All of these things are praising the Heavenly Father. You understand? So we're not supposed to put those things that we see that the heathens say, like the brother said in Jeremiah the 10th chapter, they're dismayed at these things and they're afraid. We're not afraid for the signs in the heavens because we know what the scriptures say and what they're pertaining to. And it's cold at the end of this verse 14 where it says, He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. So that's what we do here as Israelites is we go out on the highways and the byways and the hedges and we praise ye Yahweh, right? Because we know he exalted us in the last days to do this work. A mighty lesson right there, my brother. I just wanted to go into that real quick.
All praises, man. That was fire breakdown, man, from the wisdom of the mighty captain, man. Right? Just just trying to bring edification to the people, man. Just trying to break it down for the people, man. I thought that would be a little something to put into this lesson, man. Um, yeah, man. I feel like the Most High was definitely like he was doing he was doing these signs and these wonders, right, and showing his power. So it would strengthen our faith up because he knew what was ahead of us, man. Right? He knew we had to serve the Lord and girding up our loins in these last days, man. be a powerful nation. All right, you got something you want to go into there, Mahal?
Salakia. No, I was just gonna pull this up. This was actually Sol Invictus was the name of the god Sol. Right, they changed it later to Sol, but it was a cult that was around during the Roman Empire where they would worship the sun, right? And along with the winter solstice, they would also worship the moon. But it was Constantine that actually changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. But most Christians couldn't tell you that worth the life of them. But it's the Roman Empire that you're following when you worship the Most High on a day that he didn't prescribe. That's all I
Um,
had.
no, that was powerful, man. All right, that's powerful, and you see that too with Salakia. You see that too with a lot of Northern Kingdom, right? They want to go into like animal worship and you know what I'm saying, eagles and certain animals, man. We just gotta sustain from all appearances of evil, man, and worship the Creator. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause like the brother was going into, man, all these things was made, man, by the Creator, and the animals, man, they know who the Creator is. The elements, they know the Most High, man. Wisdom, it knows the Most High God, man, right? So we got to make sure we're worshiping the Creator and not the creations, man, right? But going back into this Exodus, man, I know we took a little detour there, but I just wanted to insert that into the lesson, man, to show, um, get away from this idolatry worship. Um, we picked up stuff, man, in our captivities, man. Egypt, Babylon, Assyria. We picked up some bad habits, man, that still to this day, man, our people struggle with. Mahar, can you drop down can you pull up Exodus 10 for me?
Hey, Salaki, Shapar, can I make a point real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, King. You already know. Go ahead.
Hey, it's crazy you're talking about this, right? Because when you talk about how the Most High, he really, really gets on us when we go into idolatry.
Mhm.
And then Cap just brought out how, like, the sun and the moon even praises Yahweh.
Con,
That's why, like, the Most High gets so upset because he's like, look, I created these things and they listen to what I say. When I say rise, the sun's gonna rise. And you guys are worshiping the sun? Like that's gonna send us into captivity and those kind of things because we're worshiping something that's listening to the Most High, and He created us pretty much to kind of like He gave all things for us, but we're worshiping the Son that's listening to Him. You know what I'm
con,
saying?
That's Second Ezra 6 right there.
Yeah, it's just captivity after captivity. We're following after these idolatrous ways, but even in that Psalm 148 and 1 on down, talking about the sun and the moon listening to him. He tells them to rise, they rise, and we're going off worshiping that instead of the Most High. Like
hey,
that's kind of crazy.
hey, you know what's crazy too? What's the precept say? The ass knows its owner and the ox is master's crib, right?
Right,
But
right,
Israel don't consider, man, right?
right,
Even these
right.
animals know who the creator is, right? Even the
Con,
sun and moon, all wisdom crieth out, man, right? Wisdom knows who's the creator, right? Who invented all these things, who threw the tape measure over the earth, man, to measure this thing out, right?
right.
But for
And
some
we're
reason,
yeah, and we're out here worshiping the sun and the moon.
hmm
That's pretty crazy.
yeah, man, a
It's a
lot of
lot.
no, you good though, because that was a powerful point. Everybody's making, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers. Um, yeah, man, like that's something we just struggle with, and even since the beginning, man. As soon as we got out of Egypt, man, you know, right? As soon as we got out of Egypt, we started being disobedient, man, right? Because the world's being ruled by the wickedness, man. So it's our job to try to fight off and abstain for all kind of appearances of evil, man, especially in these last days. But let's get back to that Exodus, man. Can you read verse 2, King? 10 and 2? No, we stopped at that. Can you read verse 3, Mahar, if you're there?
Khan.
Verse 3. Actually, we didn't read any of this.
I think we stopped at
Verse,
2. I
no,
had
no,
you
no.
read one.
10. In 10, we didn't start. We were reading, I believe, 9.
Okay, well, read it.
Well,
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, it started 2, actually.
Go ahead. Go ahead, King.
Wait, did we? I don't even remember.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
8. And that thou mayest tell in the ears. What you got?
No, so like now, yeah, we stopped at verse 2.
Okay. So I'll go to verse 3. And Moses and Aaron came in unto Pharaoh and said unto him, Thus saith Yahawah, the power of the Hebrews, How long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me.
And you see Moses and Aaron is like, man, when you gonna humble yourself, right? When you gonna put that pride and swallow that pride, man? But we got to keep in mind too, the Most High keeps hardening his heart, right? That's why I say, man, he's playing them like a puppet, right? The Most High, man, he's great and terrible, man. Like I've been meditating on this real hard the last week, man. I'm like even with the whole free will and all that, like, man, he was playing Pharaoh, right? Like the minute he said he was gonna let him go, he hardened his heart back again. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High is really doing this, man, to make a name for himself. You know what I mean? To show the children of Israel how powerful he is, and show the world, man, in that case, how powerful he is, man. Um, we know, man, that this is going into the locust plague, right? Well, even being more plagues on the Egypt, eating up their food, whatever was remaining in the field, right? I mean, literally just destroying. Shalom to the sister, all praise to the Most High. Shalom. Shalom to all the viewers out there. Appreciate y'all being patient with us. Lord willing, this is edification for the nation. Um, Con. But yeah, man, just hey, man, just the destroying the food supply. Literally, like, you know, you seeing cracks in the economy, seeing cracks in Egypt, right? Literally, like tearing down their water supply, their food supply, right? Like just bringing all kind of devastation to these heathens, man, right? We don't have to stay on that much more. That was just going into the locust plague. He brings those locusts on them in chapter 10. Can we drop down to 21, Mahar?
The book of Exodus, chapter 10 and verse 21. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even
Con,
darkness which may be felt.
con. So yeah, this is something big I wanted to get into, because the Most High, man, he's really starting to bring these plagues on the Egypt, and they said he put darkness over the Egyptians. Read on that, King.
Con, verse 22, it says, And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days.
Con. So that darkness, man, we getting ready to get into that darkness and what that darkness represents. Read 23 for me.
Con, they saw not one another, neither, damn, they didn't see each other. They were standing right there. Man, they saw not, it must have been real dark. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings.
Hey, man, it was so dark, man. They didn't even want to leave their houses, and they couldn't even see one another. Yeah, man, this darkness, this is actually a deep, real deep plague, man. Right? Like the um, Bible Exodus account really doesn't go deep into it, man. But let's pull up Wisdom of Solomon chapter 17, and let's see what that darkness represents, man. Right? Because the Most High, man, he's not about a bunch of games.
Hey, Salati, real quick, you know something else that's heavy about that?
Bring it out, Cat.
If you think about it, it must have been so dark, and the people must have been so dark that you couldn't see you. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hey, you just said what everybody was thinking.
you know, the people had to have been dark as hell.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Con,
And the other people, if they was of a different hue, you would see them. You would see like a shadow or something, even in the pitch dark.
all praises. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I was trying to find some visuals to bring out, and yeah, they was trying to show the Egyptians, King Tut, and all that in a different light, and I'm like, man, this don't make no sense, man. Like, really trying
Hey,
to make
look, hey, look, what was that? What was that? That comic he had, that joint he came out with years ago. He said, yeah, he was so black. If he shut his eyes and closed his mouth, you couldn't even see him. Who the hell
I can't remember which
was
one it was.
that?
So, and it's crazy too because I was looking earlier, and they were having these movies. I think it was like Russell Crowe or like Christian Bale, and it was like, yeah, man, they had Pharaoh looking like a damn Roman or like a Grecian or something, man. So yeah, man, all the accounts, man, it's in the scriptures. Come on, man, like at this point, you just assaulting our intelligence, man, trying to tell us that the Egyptians were so-called white people. But yeah, mighty point brought out by the captain right there. That's powerful. I never even thought about that. God's honest truth. But yeah, can you pull up that Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, Mahar? I'm just Salakia chapter 17. Khan.
Which verse
Uh,
did you want?
I actually want to just kind of lightly like read through the whole chapter because I believe this whole chapter is dealing with that darkness that he put over the darkness of Egypt, man. Right? We just kind of lightly read through it right quick, and I'm just going to just try to break it down a little bit at a time.
Hey, King Kazak, what's up, man? It's your turn.
Con. Hey, Salaki, yeah, I'm here. I'm back. What
Uh,
verse we at, King?
we're going to read. I know this is it's kind of time consuming, man, but I want to kind of read through this whole chapter right quick if we can because I feel like this whole chapter, man, goes into that darkness we were talking about, and I feel like this might be some good edification for the nation right here.
Con. This is the
Hmm.
book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17 from the top.
Hmm.
It says, "For great are thy judgments, and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred.
So this is going into the Egyptians. Keep reading, King.
For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation,
So right,
they
so we Salakia, so we know what that is, right? Going into the Egyptians oppressing the children of Israel. Keep reading.
they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness,
Hey, we
and
just read, man, Salakia. We just read where they weren't even leaving their houses, right? They didn't even they stayed in their place, man, for 3 days straight. Keep reading.
fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay there exiled from the eternal providence.
Mm-hmm.
For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness.
Hey, man, that darkness was so thick, man, and the spirit that the Most High put on them, they started forgetting everything they had in their memory, right? A dark veil of forgetfulness. They started just having forgetfulness and couldn't even function properly, right? Keep reading.
Being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions.
Hey, apparitions, man, are basically in a nutshell going into spirits or like ghosts, what you would call ghosts. So not only were they in darkness physically, like in light, but the Most High was putting demons and ghosts on these people, man. Right? I mean, it was literally like they were literally being tormented. Keep going.
Verse 4. For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances.
See that they started seeing visions and faces and yeah, see that the brother Ephraim's on it, man. You see that it was darkness. They started seeing all kind of visions and ghosts and all kind of spirits tormenting them. Keep reading.
No power of the fire might give them light.
Hey, it was so dark, man. They couldn't even spark. It was so dark, man. Light couldn't even go through that darkness. That's how
That's
dark it was.
insane.
Yeah, that's
That
crazy.
was like a
That's
black
crazy.
hole, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like a they were like in a black hole or something, man. You see that? Keep reading.
No power of the fire might give them light. Neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night.
Uh,
Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not.
you see that? So Most High was putting like fire coming out of the ground and all kind of fire coming at them. I mean, they
Mm.
were just being frightened at every corner. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
As for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace.
You see that? So none of the sorcerers or none of the magicians they had could do that. None of the illusions. What does it say? As for the illusions of art, magic, they were put down. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't summons their wise men and their sorcerers to do anything. You see that? Keep reading.
Verse 8. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at.
Hey, they said basically saying their sorcerers and their magicians were just scared to death, right? They were
Mm.
scared to death. They didn't want to press upon that power. They knew that this was the hand of the Most High God. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Keep going.
Verse 9. For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that pass by and hissing of serpents.
You see that? So the Most High was putting animal sounds and animals walking by them. Like if you ever been out night camping and heard
Uh,
insects and spiders and snakes, and you might hear an animal howling in the mist at night, man. Like that's what kind of fear and darkness that the Lord was putting on these people, man. I'm talking about straight terror. That's why
mm,
we named this lesson the great and terrible power, man. The Most High
uh,
wasn't playing with these Egyptians. Keep reading.
verse 10. They died for fear, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided.
Hmm.
For wickedness, condemned by her own witness, is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience, always forecasteth grievous things. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succours which reason offereth, and the expectation from within, being less, counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment.
Hmm.
Verse 14. But they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell, were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions.
So we said apparitions were
Uh,
like were like demons and ghosts, right? So they had monsters and all kind of figures. There it is. You see that? They had all kind of, I mean, real horror movie stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like real darkness and real horror movie stuff for these people seeing, man. Right? The Lord wasn't playing with them, man. Like He really started getting to these plagues. You know what I'm saying? He really started getting into this and frightening these and frightening these Egyptians, man, to death, basically. Keep reading, King.
uh, were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions, and partly fainted, their heart failing them, for a sudden fear, and not looked for, came upon them.
Hmm.
So then whosoever there fell down was straitly kept, shut up in a prison without iron bars.
Hey, they was in a mental prison. You see
Uh,
that? They was in a mental prison in their mind, right? They were just completely subdued, right? Keep going.
and that's that whosoever. Verse 17.
Hey, I
For
was just thinking the same damn thing.
Con.
Like, oh, where the Christians at? There's the
Right,
whosoever again.
right, right. Verse 17. For whether he were husbandman or shepherd or a laborer in the field, he was overtaken and endured that necessity which could not be avoided, for they were all bound with one chain of darkness.
Hey, That's just like a darkness of like the darkness was so dark they were almost like in prison. You know what I'm saying? They were like in fear. The fear was so strong, man. It had them like they were in prison. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Keep going.
Verse 18. Whether it were a whistling wind or a melodious noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stones cast down, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beasts, or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains, these things made them to swoon for fear.
Con,
For the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. Over them only was spread in heavy night an image of that darkness which should afterwards receive them, but yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness.
con. And like I said, the children of Israel, they didn't have to endure this. This was only put on the Egyptians at that time, right? So just yeah, man, just going into that darkness, man. I thought this might be edifying, just to go into that a little bit, man, because I ain't gonna lie, I always wondered what that darkness was. Like, what does that actually mean? But as you can see, man, the Most High was putting terrors on the children of Israel, on the children of Egypt, man. Right? He was scaring them to death, man. Like a horror movie, man. Like a old school horror movie on them, man. Bugging them out their brain, man. Right? But yeah, man. We can move on to that. Ephraim. All praise to the Most High, man. Let's start at chapter 11 of that Exodus, King. All praise to the Most High.
You said started one.
Uh, started started verse. Yeah, started. Let's see here. Yeah, start at 1, and then we're gonna drop down to 4.
Con. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one more plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether.
Right, and this is it right here. This is getting ready to go into the account of the Passover. When that death angel came through, right? When the Lord sent the destroyer to come through, man, to destroy the firstborn of Pharaoh, man. Let's drop down to 4, King.
Con. Verse 4. And Moses said, Thus saith Yahweh, About midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more.
Read verse 7 for me.
Verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
All praises, man. So the Lord, He's getting ready to really let them have it, man. Right? He's getting ready to really put that thing on them, man. Like He said, man. After this plague, man. Right? This is the one where Pharaoh's finally gonna let you go, man. Right? This is that powerful one right here. This is that strength of the Most High, man, on full display. Right? Drop down to verse chapter 12, Mahar, and let's start at verse 7.
Con. The book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper doorpost of the houses, wherein they shall eat it.
Hey, and this the Lord giving the instructions, right, to be saved, man, during that time, man, right? That the death angel will pass over the children of Israel, man, right? Keep going.
And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Hey, drop down to verse 12.
Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh.
You see that, right? Man, beast, right, and their gods too, man. He gonna destroy their gods also, and that's like what we were going into earlier about these so-called idol gods, man, that the Egyptians worship, right? He said he was gonna smite all that, man, and execute judgment, right? The Most High, man, he's showing his power and his glory, man, right, against this wicked nation, man, that decided to put our forefathers in captivity and try to rule over us, man. Ephraim, can you pull up Second Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6? Because we know, man, right? This is the same thing that Egypt did to us, right? During the time of Moses' birth, man, right? Started killing out the firstborn of the Israelites, man. You see that? And we know the Most High, man. He's about a just balance, right? He's a just God, man. So what a man reaps, man, he's gonna have to sow. Or Salakia, what a man sow, he's gonna have to reap. Read that for me, King.
Khan, the book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 1, verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Hey, that was their recompense, man. Right? The same thing that they did, man, to us, they had to get back, right? And we teach this on the streets, man. Like America's the same way. They haven't got their judgment, right? All these nations, they really haven't got their judgment yet. They put the children of Israel into captivity, right? So, like it says in Maccabees, what nation hasn't had parts in our spoil, man, right? So the Most High God, He's just, man, right? You ain't gonna be able to escape the judgment of the Most High, man, right? The same thing you put out, that's what you're gonna get. You can't plant one kind of fruit and expect to get another kind of fruit to pop up. It don't work like that, man. The Most High is just, right? He's a just power. So just like those Egyptians did that to us, man, hey, the Lord put that on them. You see that? Can you read? Go back to that Exodus, and I ain't gonna be much more longer, man. Can you read? Go to chapter 12 and read verse 13.
Khan, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt.
You know that's symbolic for the Messiah, right? Because we covered by the blood of the Messiah, right? And He passes out, and the Lord, man, we got grace and we got mercy, man, because of the sacrifice that the Messiah made for us, right?
Big Khan. Hey,
See
I
that?
wouldn't be surprised if that death angel was Yahweh Shai. I'm just saying, you know.
Right, right. I mean, it's called the destroyer, right? And we know in Jeremiah, He's called the destroyer of the Gentiles, man, right? And we know all through the prophecy, man, it's prophesied that the Messiah is going to destroy the Gentiles, right? So, yeah, man. Can we drop down to 23, King?
Khan. Verse 23. It says, For Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
You see that, man, right? So this is symbolic, man, right? That's why we got to get ourselves right with the Most High, man, so we don't face this kind of destruction, right? We had to have the lamb's blood, and we know that lamb is metaphoric or parabolic for the Messiah, because he came, man, for the sins of Israel, for the children of Israel, right?
Khan. Hey, Salakia, real quick, and look at that verse 24.
This is for all those Christians who think that the Passover is just done away with, just like the laws that they believe. It says, "And ye shall observe this thing," talking about uh, uh, talking about the Passover celebration. It's a celebration now, but it was an observance back then. "And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever." They think forever means until Christ came. No, it means forever.
Yeah, I was meditating on that, man. If you don't, the Passover is considered like the highest holy day. So if you're not keeping the Passover, and we know the Messiah, he kept the Passover, right? He told the disciples to go ready the Passover. So if you're not keeping the Passover, right, you're basically in sin. You know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about? That wasn't the Passover. That was the last the Last Supper.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, we gotta, right. These are the Lord's holy days and the Lord's Sabbaths, man. So we gotta keep this thing, Israel, right? Can you drop down to 29, King?
Con. Verse 29. It says, "And it came to pass that at midnight Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and
Uh,
all the firstborn of the cattle."
you see that? So he went through and killed all the firstborn, right? Destroyed them all, man, right? Even the princes, right? The prince that was underneath Pharaoh, right? If you was the firstborn, man, no matter what, man, you got destroyed, right? The Lord, he wasn't playing. He really was destroying Egypt, man, right? Crippling this nation, man, right? But they did that to us, so it was a recompense for them, right? The Most High is just, like we were saying earlier, right? Uh, can you drop down a little bit, Mahar? I want to get into the spools, how we spooled the Egyptians. I think it's like 33 or 34, something like that, 35. You scroll down right quick.
Where they borrowed, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, come.
Verse 35, it says, "And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and actually, you know what? If we go up to the top, it's actually, where is it? It says it here too, but it says it. Oh, where is it? Where is it? No, Salaki. It might be in 11. Right
Con,
here.
this.
It says, "Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold."
Mhm.
And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians.
Con, and that's metaphoric and parabolic, man, for America and actually these other nations, man. Because I was just reading in Zechariah, where when the kingdom comes, man, all these nations are gonna have to give their riches up, right? All the things that they stole, right? They're gonna have to come to the nation of Israel, and they're gonna have to give all that gold back, all that silver, right? All the riches they've done gained, right, unjustly, right? All their wealth, right? They're
Give
gonna
it up, give it up, give it up.
Khan, I believe it's the 13th or 14th chapter. But yeah, they're gonna have to bring all those spools back to us, right? They're gonna have to bring all those riches back, man, and we're gonna spoil these other nations, man, in days, man, right? That way we can have a powerful, rich nation, man, and we're gonna rule over them, right? But I ain't gonna be much longer, man. Can you go into 14 a little bit? And yeah, man. Like I say, can't read every bit of it, but Pharaoh he eventually lets us go, right? But he has a change of heart again and tries to chase us down, man. Right? After going into the darkness, his all his crops being destroyed, locusts, flies, the herds, all these plagues turned on him, man. Most High just kept hardening his heart, And Pharaoh, man, after his firstborn being killed, he still, man, his pride wouldn't let him do it, man. That's like I said, you had the Most High keep hard in his heart, right? Read. I ain't gonna be much longer, man. Read 11. We'll read 11 right quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 14, and verse 11. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, thou hast taken us away to die in the wilderness. Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?
Hey, and Israel still is looking like, man, you brought us out here just to kill us, man, because he seen Pharaoh and them rising up, man, and chasing them down, right? He's like, Israel still, man, hard headed, man. Like, man, you brought us out of here, man, because you didn't want to kill us in Egypt. You brought us out here to die. Read 13, King.
Verse 13,
Mm-hmm.
it says, And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh,
Right.
which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
Hey, Moses wasn't playing, man. He knew the Most High, man. He knew the Most High wasn't playing. He said, "See the salvation of the Lord," right? And Lord willing, that's what we pray. That's what our people is waiting for now: the salvation out of America, right? To see the Lord come on this place and judge this place, man. Right?
Hey, Salakia, that verse 14 is even more powerful. It
Bring
says,
it
The
out.
Lord Yahweh shall fight for you.
No, we gonna fight.
He gonna fight for you,
You see that?
and ye shall hold your peace.
Oh, praises, man. Drop down to 23 right quick for me. Get a few
Con.
more in, man.
And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass that in the morning watch, Yahweh looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians.
Right, and you start to see the salvation and the strength of the Most High God. Read verse 25.
Verse 25, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fighteth for them against the Egyptians.
You see that the Egyptians, they started losing trust in all their military might. Right, the Lord took the wheels off the chariots, man, off their chariots. Right, right. They started losing their military might, and even the Egyptians said, man, the Lord fighteth for them. You see that? They knew the Most High God was on our side. Right, the heathen knew. Keep reading, King.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, Stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and Yahweh overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them.
Khan, can you read down to 31 for me?
Khan. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus Yahweh saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the sea shore. And Israel saw that great work which Yahweh did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared Yahweh and believed the Lord and his servant Moses.
Hey, that's powerful right there, man. Like that was powerful. Going to this account yeah, my hope, like it really like boosted my spirit up as far as to have having that spirit of hope on me, because I really, you really, your spirit meditates on the strength of the Most High and the God we serve, and how, if he can crumble Egypt, who, like we were saying earlier in the lesson, was a mighty power, man, it's nothing for him to slay and destroy all our enemies, man. Right? You don't read in this account where the Israelites picked up rocks or stones or sword or spears, right? The Lord did it all from His strength, man. Right? He showed the Israelites His salvation, man. Right? And really, man, this should put some fear, like this should put some respect in your heart towards the Most High God, right? And when it says that people feared Him, like we taught in other lessons before, they gave reverence to the Lord, right? They feared Him in a way till they respected Him, right? They knew what kind of power that the Most High God was, man, right? Like Yashuan was bringing out earlier, the Egyptians, when they weren't a strength on the earth, man, after this, right? They had empires before this and dynasties and all that, but where's Egypt today, man? Right? We teach all the time, like Egypt was overtook by the Ishmaelites, right? That's an country now. They speak Arabic as their national language, right? The real Egyptians are like the Sudanese, um, and different areas of lands like that, right? They were overtaken, and they were never a strong empire like they were. So just going into the strength of the Most High God, man. I just got one more, man. Can you bring up Exodus chapter 15 and just read 2 and 3 right quick? All praise to the Most High.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, and verse 2.
Hmm.
Yahweh is my strength
What the Lord
and
said.
song. Yahweh is my strength
Hmm.
and song. He is become my salvation. He is my power, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name.
All praise to the Most High, man. Hopefully this was edifying. Hopefully, it's beautiful, man. Like meditating on this Passover, meditating on the Lord's high holy day, what He did for the children of Israel. Like we went into earlier, this is a memorial that we have to keep and remember in our mind and our spirit, um, what the Most High did for us, man. How He brought us out of the hands of these heathen nations, and He showed our people salvation. And after this, man, reading on, He led us into the promised land, had us take on other nations, um, that were planted in that land, had been living in that land for long periods of time, man. So yeah, hopefully this was edifying. Hopefully, it resonated with the people's spirits. And if any of the other brothers got anything they want to add to it, um, go ahead and do your thing right quick.
Hey, Shalom. Hey, Shapar, did you read Psalms 105?
Nah, go ahead and bring it out, King.
All right, real quick. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 105, verse 1. It says, "O give thanks unto Yahweh, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him, sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahweh. Seek Yahweh in his strength and seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is Yahweh, your power. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Verse 38. Now, verse 36. He smote also all the firstborn in the land, the chief of all their strength. He brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes. Egypt was glad when they departed, for the fear of them fell upon them. And powerful lesson, my brother. And this is gonna be, gonna come around again, where the people in America are gonna be happy on that day when that judgment and the darkness befalls this earth. So, shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Hey, beautiful breakdown, beautiful precept from the captain. Like we said, man, we love y'all, Israel. All praise to the Most High. We say, call Allah, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah. All praise to the Most High, right? Kwam Yasha'Allah. Take us out, Ethan.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. The water for joining us for another Warzone Wednesday. Tune in next week where we have the mighty Captain Ra'am bring it out mightily in the spirit. Shalom. Have a good night. All praise to the Most High. Kwam Yasha'Allah.